Breaking news. So David Benavidez, the Mexican monster, accused David Morrell of being on PEDs, even though David Morrell has never failed any type of testing from VADA, etc., his entire career, the amateurs or pros. The reason why David Benavidez said that was because David Morrell applied to VADA late. Here is exactly what David Benavidez had to say. Check it out.
I'm not going to say David Morrell is taking steroids because there's been no test of him taking steroids, but I will point out a few things. When you hear more than one person talking about steroid use, and at Betco too, he said that he got tested the whole time and Morrell did not get tested one time. That kind of raises some red flags there. For this fight, every time, when these are high-profile fights, we get tested because as we should. When I fought Caleb Plant, I'd signed the contract 14 weeks out. We started testing 14 weeks out. Andrade, same 13, 14 weeks out, started testing. Because they wanted to test me because they said I was dirty, supposedly. Or if they thought I was doing cocaine or whatever it is. I tested, I did whatever. So then when I get this fight with David Morrell, we knew about it months before, like 4 months already. I had told them, I'm not asking stuff that hasn't been done, but when are we gonna get the test? They kept saying next week. Until I told them, I'm like, bro, well, how the f are we not testing when I heard that he takes steroids and, we're already on week 9, no testing. I told him, bro, I'm gonna cancel this whole fight because it's kind of weird because how is a person that has been accused of shit is not getting tested? So then I told him, like, bro, if you guys, like, we're gonna cancel this fight, I don't give a fuck. And then VADA came the next day. You know what I mean? So if you pay attention to that press conference when I was talking, when I brought up steroids and said what I just told you right now, Morrell took his glasses off, in my opinion, in a form of shock. Like, oh, he just said that. And then Luis ACCUSES Sr. grabs the mic, gets up and starts yelling. And then after that, they left. That already, for me, if somebody tells me I'm taking steroids, I'm speaking up right away. Like, man, I'm not taking no steroid. What are you talking about? David Morrell didn't say shit. Luis ACCUSES Sr. took the microphone away from him and he started talking for him. You know what I mean? I don't know what they were planning or they have some sneaky shit going on, but they're not going to play that with me. You know what I mean? Now we've been getting tested every single week. But if I would have let it be, what if something would have happened and then on the 3rd week, oh, now it's bad at test. You know what I mean? And this is what these people do, bro. They take steroids in week 8, week 9. They train, that shit gets flushed, and by the time they get to week 3, they bring in the testers. Oh, now it's time to test when there's no steroids in there no more. You know what I mean? So these people know what they're doing. I'm not saying anything about David Morrell, but that shit is a little fishy. And I wasn't asking for anything that I hadn't done myself because I've been tested more than VADA than anybody. I've been tested at least 30 times. So how is this their biggest fight and he doesn't have to, like, they're not doing VADA? But I was not going to let them play me like that. I'm not saying that nobody's taking steroids or nothing, but.
This is shocking to hear from Benavidez, since he made it sound like he cared nothing about VADA testing. When we asked Benavidez about Ryan testing positive for PEDs against Devin Haney, Benavidez didn't even want to talk about it. He basically said the next question, I don't want to talk about that. He made it sound like he cared nothing about cheaters. He made it sound like he cared nothing about VADA testing. Now, all of a sudden, he's accusing David Morrell of being on steroids, even though he did not fail any test, like Ryan did. But he didn't want to talk about Ryan, though. Check it out.
For me, it looks like fear. It looks like fear, like you're scared of me.
What's your thoughts on Ryan testing positive for PEDs?
I have no thoughts about that. I don't want to speak about that.
Okay.
How do you see Canelo and Jaime going down tonight?
I think it's gonna be a great fight.
See, that's the type of thing you can't do. Talk about Jake Paul and everything that don't have to do with your fight. But when it came to Ryan testing positive for PEDs, at that time, this was the biggest topic in the sport. Benavidez said no comment. He don't want to talk about Ryan. Now, this is not the case that Benavidez likes Ryan because that's his countryman and he doesn't like Devin Haney. That's not true at all. Ryan, in fact, was dissing Benavidez. He was calling out Benavidez to fight at a catch weight of 164, and Benavidez accepted the challenge. What Benavidez should have said at that moment, no wonder he's trying to move up 4 weight classes to fight me. Clearly, he's on steroids. That's why. Well, Benavidez didn't even say that. And it's not because he's not cool with Devin Haney. In fact, it's the contrary. Benavidez has been one of the realest ones who's been given credit from day one. Back when everyone was calling Devin Haney the email champion, at that time, Tio beat Lomachenko. Gervonta knocked out Leo Santa Cruz. So both Teofimo Lopez and Gervonta had all of the momentum. But shockingly and surprisingly, Benavidez came out stating that he believes the best lightweight in the division is not Gervonta, it's not Teofimo Lopez, but instead it's Devin Haney. He's the best lightweight in the world over Gervonta and Teofimo Lopez. That's what Benavidez said back in 2020, back during the COVID time, when it wasn't popular to do so. It ain't even popular to do that today. It wasn't popular to say that at no point of Devin Haney's career, even when he was undisputed. Well, Benavidez said that when Devin was called the email champion. He was being called the email champion left and right. But Benavidez said Devin Haney was the best lightweight in the world over Gervonta and Teofimo Lopez. So this is not the case that Benavidez doesn't like Devin and he's being biased toward his countrymen. That's not the case at all. I told you guys, Ryan didn't just say Canelo beats Benavidez. Ryan also said, I beat Benavidez. I'm going to move up 4 divisions to beat Benavidez at a catchweight. Benavidez also said from his own mouth that Devin Haney is one of his favorite fighters. He said that multiple times. Just like he also said Devin Haney is one of the best fighters in the world multiple times. Benavidez, on top of all of that, he said he actually watches Devin Haney to study him. He learns from watching Devin Haney. So he's a student of the game, and he respects Devin Haney that much to watch him, to study him. But when Ryan cheated, Benavidez said no comment. He pleaded the fifth. The $1 million question, why that is? Well, it's simple. Benavidez didn't want to say anything bad about Ryan because he did not want to receive backlash. He simply didn't want to piss off the Rays fans that was defending Ryan for cheating. He did not want them to come at him and bring up his past about testing positive for cocaine. The main difference, though, when Benavidez was taking cocaine to have fun, he was only hurting himself. He was only damaging his body, his career. He wasn't hurting and damaging others like Ryan Garcia did. When you take PEDs, that's a different story. You are enhancing your ability to hurt others. Meanwhile, if you're taking cocaine, that's a completely different story. At that point, that's the opposite effect. You only hurting yourself. You're going to make yourself weaker for your opponent. So in fact, you are actually helping your opponent to beat you. That's what Benavidez was doing. For example, if you are smoking cigarettes, who do you think that's going to hurt? Yourself or your opponent? That's a rhetorical question. If you're smoking cigarettes on your off time, then guess what? That's only going to hurt your stamina and your health, not your opponent. Which by default, that's only going to give your opponent a better chance to beat you if you're doing stuff like that. Well, that's the case for Benavidez. It's not the same case for Ryan. Anyways, between the Backlash and Gervonta, since they were sharing the same card together, Gervonta, obviously, he hates Devin Haney that much. So since Gervonta was defending Ryan, Benavidez didn't want to say the truth. He decided to say no comment. I don't want to talk about that. So why should we talk about that? Why should we talk about Morrell being on PEDs supposedly, even though he never failed any PEDs like Ryan did? If you don't want to tell the truth when it comes to others, then don't expect people to tell the truth when it comes to you. What goes around comes back around. Either way, both Benavidez and Morrell already got Nevada tested. So the fight is on. And this is a true 50-50 fight. A great fight. One to watch, must-see TV. You cannot miss this one. That being said, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.